Women's Revolution, more like Evolution, or so they would have us think. I'm wearing my M hat because it was a major disappointment. No, I'm kidding. It was pretty good, man. At least in my opinion. What do you think?
It was,
Hence this hat.
It was small hat worthy, I thought.
This hat is representative of the tiny chub I had the whole time.
Yeah.
Because, look, I'm very glad for the women, honestly. It's due time. And honestly, right now, women are the best thing on the main roster.
Yeah.
Just facts. Don't get butthurt about it. Just is. But yeah, that doesn't mean I'm not a man and I had a tiny chub the whole time. But anyway, let's talk about this bitch. And by that, I mean the event, not the women.
Not the women, yeah.
The pre-show had Nathan. Originally, the Battle Royale was going to be there, which I thought when you told me that. When you told me that, I was like, hell yeah, that's the place to put it, But that's mainly because I'm not a fan of the Battle Royale format outside of a Royal Rumble style one. But kind of glad that it wasn't there. We'll get to that, though. Main event had nothing except for that Nikki Bella interview with Tyler fucking Perry.
Yeah. That was weird.
Look here, WWE.
Also, shave your beard.
Yeah, he's not looking good.
No.
Then again, he's Tyler Perry. Who cares? The point is, WWE, you can't continue to blend in real life with WWE events because it just comes off as fake, and we already know it's fake.
And corny.
So when people know that's fake, are going, man, this is fake.
And corny.
That's a problem. Stop. Anyway, that sucked.
Yeah.
But we got to the show. The show started, and they had to bring Nita Strauss again because apparently that's the only female guitarist they know.
Yeah.
The good thing is she's good, so that's a thing. And Lizzie Hale from Hailstorm was there. And I say Lizzie Hale because they were like Lizzie Hale, not Hailstorm. Forget the guy's parts.
It's that chick.
But anyway, her hairdo sucked. Next,
it wasn't great. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't flattering, but whatever. Women's power and all that. You could do whatever you want with your stanky hair. It'll look good, I guess, to somebody. Not me though. Anyway, up first was Trish and Lita versus Mickie James and Foxy, it turns out, because, of course, Alexa was hurt. Who'd you want to win? This was kind of a 50-50 for me because, well, it was a 50-50 until Foxy replaced Alexa. Who'd you want to win in this? Or did you have any stake in this at all?
Yeah, this one I could go either way, like you. It was a 50-50.
Mm-hmm.
I would understand why they would make Lita and What's-Her-Face win. But at the same time, long term, I don't think it would make a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
So I was kind of like, whatever. I'm in for whatever happens.
Yeah, I think this is the same thought process in my head, but I'm going to add to that the nostalgia factor was really working in this one.
Yeah.
Unlike some other stuff that they tried with nostalgia. And the crowd really, really was into it to show that they had actually hit stride with them. But yeah, both ways I could go either way. Even when Foxy replacing Alexa, that's fine. I like Mickie a lot, but they could have gone for somebody else that was a little bit more in chime with the theme, I guess.
Yeah, it didn't really make sense.
But yeah, I mean, great effort from everybody. Everybody's firing at all cylinders. You could tell that they wanted to impress.
Yeah.
So even Foxy looked good in this. Not to insinuate she's bad. It's Foxy. You know what I'm saying? But everybody looked really good, man. Even the people you'd expect to be having some serious ring rust.
Yeah, I was expecting Lita to break her neck.
Yeah, I think everybody was expecting that. But she did land when she finally did the lead assault. She did land it somewhat. I mean, it didn't look awful. And but anyway, yeah, the winners ended up being Trish and Lita. It was a lead assault followed by Trish's chick kick to old Mickie, and then that was the pin. But up to that point, it was a pretty exciting match. It was fast-paced. Yeah. So whatever little, hitches they hit or any botches they hit, they passed so fast that you didn't even really notice. And it was kind of exciting up to that point. Anything in specific that maybe you didn't like or conversely you did like?
I wasn't a huge fan of Lita's thong.
Yeah, she had this weird
thong bodysuit.
It was like a leotard underneath that I guess maybe it was intentional because she used to have the old thong coming out of the trip pants back in the day. But man, that thing looked like a straight up sumo diaper.
It was like a straight up diaper.
Sumi must have left it behind.
I was expecting Sumi
from
to come out.
The greatest Royal Rumble.
Sumi to come out and be like, "Where's my diaper?"
Yeah, man. There's one moment. Again, there was some rusty moments, but they went like I said, went so fast I didn't really care, and it looked good, and it was a very entertaining match. One moment though, two moments really, I guess, was the ref delaying a count. Like Alicia barely made it in, And it was like that count right there should have been that should have been the count. And obviously we understand why he delayed it, but it was like, woo, that's super obvious. That would happen later again. But anyway, yeah, I like this match, man. It was pretty good. Pretty damn good, I'd say. Very entertaining start.
The crowd was really into it, which helped quite a bit.
Yeah,
it kind of got you in the mood weirdly.
And
it's the most I've heard a crowd cheer. Definitely way more than any Raw as of late.
Yeah, it has been a while since we heard cheers like that. And they stayed pretty raucous to the next event, which was the Battle Royale. Now, like I've aforementioned, I'm not a fan of Battle Royales. Unless it's in the Royal Rumble style. Because it's a mess, usually.
Yeah, it's always...
And sloppy and...
confusing.
And you know that eventually you're going to be like, just get down to the last ones. Because that's all we really want to see.
Yeah.
It takes a lot for me to like a Battle Royale. And though this had a lot of botching and a lot of ring rust in the mix, I gotta say I was very entertained with this Battle Royale. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I was surprised how entertaining. I'm not say good. Not good. I'll say good. I was surprised how good it was. It was thoroughly entertaining. I was actually, like I said, very surprised by it.
Yeah, I can't explain it. Maybe again it had to do with the tiny chub in my pants.
Yeah.
But I definitely was thinking with this head above anything else. And yeah, man, I had fun with it. It was fun. They did spots that were entertaining. The comedy spots were funny or enjoyable. And of course, they harkened to a lot of nostalgia. So just about everybody had their bases covered in terms of nostalgia. I know there was some audible reactions to something that I'll talk about right now. But first, let's talk about that nostalgia. Some old faces came back, and in some of these cases, I do mean old faces.
Top 10 hags?
Top 10 hags, for sure. We had Michelle McCool come back, of course, because, Undies is in the business still. Alundra Blaze looking like straight up a slee stack from Land of the Lost.
Yeah.
But it was cool to see her,
Yeah, I mean, I am a fan of slee stacks. So
slee stacks are pretty cool.
It was pretty cool.
Kelly was there, doing her, weird... clumsy movements.
Yeah.
Molly Holly was there. Maria Kanellis with fabulous ass. Ivory looking rustic, but still good.
Yeah.
And she lasted the longest of all of them.
Yeah, it was weird.
And Tori Wilson, still pretty, by the way. It was fun to see all of them. Honestly, and I know the crowd, this is what I was talking about earlier. This is what I alluded to earlier. I know the crowd had a kind of adverse reaction to this. They got rid of a lot of the old schools.
Really
pretty early
fast,
on.
yeah.
And fast, yeah. And I like that. I like that because a lot of these girls been out of the ring for a while and they weren't ready to hold out that long time.
Yeah.
And look competent enough with the newer school girls. On top of that, this is about the girls that are here now doing their thing. So it said something. And they staged it in a cool way too. Especially with the Iconics coming out at first, doing their iconic thing, everybody teaming up against them, but then the new breed teaming up against the old breed. So it gave an organizational feel to the Battle Royale.
Yeah, and it got out some of the clunkier people too.
Yes, definitely. So that was definitely a good choice. I know some people wanted to see some of these people in there a little bit longer, but yeah, I think that ultimately paid off.
And there wasn't like hate in the crowd.
No,
either.
It was just like, oh man, a bit too early for that or whatever.
Yeah, throughout it was actually pretty. Again, it was still pretty like people were into it still.
Anyway, and there was some cool little spots or callbacks. Most notably for me was the Asuka and Ember face-off.
Yeah,
which of course never happened on NXT, so we kind of tease of that. They played some stuff off pretty well, some callbacks like that. Unfortunately, Tamina was in there quite a long time, but they did use her in a way that I know that's the original intent, to make her the monster of the women in SmackDown. But let's face it, the chick can't wrestle very well, and
she's horrid.
She sucks. It's plain and simple. But despite the fact that we know that Tamina really stinks, they actually kind of did a good job facing her off against Nia Jax. She did present a threat, at least within the confines of the Royale.
It presented a threat to me because I was like, man, if this chick wins, I'm going to be pissed. Yeah. So there was like some added stakes for me.
Now, I never thought she was going to win, but the fact that she was there
so long,
began to make me dread the idea.
I was like, oh no.
is this how they're gonna finally make her relevant? Of course, that was not to be. The actual event ended up being won by Nia Jax. When it came down to Nia and Ember, and of course there had been a little build up there on Raw, and I think they made the right choice. Of course, Ember would have been my preferred choice, but she is pretty new. She's pretty nascent, still gaining her footing. There's still time for that. I think everybody knows she's super talented. And especially since it came down to her and Nia, there's enough room there to grow a potential feud there should it need be. But in the meantime, Nia ends up throwing Ember out, and she is now in the championship picture because of that. And that's good, man, because they kind of did her dirty with the whole heel turn, babyface turn shit out of nowhere before, her brief hiatus. So this is a good chance, and the crowd seemed to react very positively to that, which is good. Thankfully, they didn't make her do any speeches like they did that one time, where everybody's like, "Oh no!" Yeah. So yeah, that was cool, man. I actually enjoyed that battle royale. Anything you want to add, or anything you hated?
I don't envy the guy that had to cut Nia Jax out of her bodysuit afterwards.
Dude, they gotta melt those bodysuits off. I'm assuming
it's like the Terminator 2 mold toy. That's how they put the bodysuit on. They just freaking put her in a chamber.
To be fair, if that was the case, I would be in bodysuits.
Yeah, that's a good point.
A sight no one wants to see.
No. Instead, you just wear body paint.
All the wiener all hanging out.
Yeah.
Next is the NXT finale for the Mae Young Classic, originally called the Moolah Sucks Classic.
Which was
catapult Moolah's corpse onto the tarmac.
I don't know.
Not even the mat. They just the airport.
I don't know who Mola is, but I'm assuming you meant
Moolah.
Mola wrong.
Mola is Moolah's cousin. She lives underground. Yeah, man.
She's actually Danny DeVito, by the way.
Eggs. Next was like I said, the NXT finale for the Mae Young Classic. This was between Io Shirai and Toni Storm. Of course, these girls are. I think most people in the know about wrestling understand these two girls are at the top of the heap as far as international wrestling goes or worldwide wrestling goes, and that says a lot because really that means they're on top of the heap. Period. Because as big profile as WWE is, they don't do what all these other promotions are doing.
Yeah.
So these two girls are literally some of the best, if not the best in the world. So it was a toss-up, man. I could go either way with winning. I guess I would swing more towards Toni Storm as I am more familiar with Toni Storm.
I do like that when you picked up her little hat thing, she stopped doing it.
Yeah.
She was like, oh, man.
I'm going to go for the ass thing next. See if she stops doing that. Hopefully not.
This is where we would insert ass cam, but we're not gonna. You gotta pay for that.
Yeah. Yeah, man. This was a pretty good match. I think one of the best of the night, in my opinion. I don't know if you'll agree with that, but it ended with kind of a surprise result because no matter how good these two girls are, I think the consensus is that Io Shirai is the best in the world as far as women go, and I kind of expected that to be the win. In retrospect, I think about it and I go, you know what? It would have been unfair to Toni Storm for Io Shirai to win. Io Shirai's gonna make it.
Yeah.
Toni Storm, they've delayed that win for a year already.
I didn't think she would win because I didn't think she had signed with them.
Who are you talking about?
Toni Storm.
Yeah.
So I didn't really know what it was gonna. I was actually kind of confused. She made it that far into the thing. I remember I said she's not gonna win, but I guess she did, and yeah, she won.
Yeah, so she's going to be part of the picture now, and we'll see how that goes. But anyway, the match ended with Io unleashing one of her monstrous moonsaults, but Toni blocked it with some knees, and then she turned that into a Storm Zero, and that was that. That was the end of the game up to that point. Very exciting match. I don't see any downsides to this match, actually. Built up pretty nicely and ended it sweetly, and I was surprised, man.
Yeah.
Anything you might want to add to that?
The only downside is that Toni Storm's pits were clean this time, unlike the entirety of the Mae Young Classic.
We have noticed a trend with Toni Storm's armpits, and that's that for some reason
they tend to get grimy.
Get some grimy ass pits, but that's okay. I would lick those pits, lick them clean. That's fine. And she is incredibly talented, so she's allowed a dirty pit or two.
Yeah.
Let's just hope that it stays on the armpits.
We're not talented, and we had dirty pits.
horribly dirty pits.
Dirty crotch pits, too. Also known as crevices.
Speaking of crotch pits, the woman that owns mine is Ruby Riott. Her and her squad went up against Bayley, Sasha, and Natty in match that I guess is happening.
Yeah.
Now they did kind of build up to it in Raw, but it was really a background feud that became part of this fucking card. I guess if I have to pick the low light of the night, this still wouldn't be it.
Yeah.
But it'd be close, and it's not because the match was bad. It's because what we expected to happen happened.
Yeah.
And that is the Riott Squad ends up losing, and or if they had won, it would still feel like a loss. But anyway, they end up losing. Liv and Sarah are allowed to shine. Ruby, for some reason, is not, and they end up looking like complete assholes. And the good guys, the baby faces, just shine resplendently, and that's fine. But I don't understand what they're doing with the Riott Squad. I just don't get it. I still don't get it. This was a chance to do something new with them. They're working as a team very well. I just don't get it, man. I don't get it. So it was a kind of a waste of time. Although the match was fine. It was entertaining.
It wasn't a bad match. I'm not like at this point. I don't even give a shit what happens because they're not characters. They're just people who lose.
Yeah,
all the time.
Tragic again. And give them one win. Give them one win that matters.
And like I said, like this, like I said when we were watching it, this feels like the one out. Like it doesn't fit with the rest of the thing. It's just like a background match that they put in this big event for some reason.
Yeah, really, this should have been in the pre-show.
Yeah,
that would have made sense because it is a background story on Raw. But whatever, man. Again, a waste of time for the Riott Squad. What do Bayley, Sasha, and Natty gain from this other than what they already have? Nothing. There's no winning here. They're pointless. But anyway, Sasha ended up getting the win with a frog splash. Again, it was a nice match, but irrelevant.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Irrelevant. I just want to throw this in. I'm pretty sure Sasha like glued down her hair because at the end when her hair is all frizzy from the match, Bayley goes up to hug her or something, and her hair, all of it goes up a little except for this right here. And I was like, oh man, she's aware of that 5 head and she's trying to hide that baby.
Maybe that 5 head has turned into a 6 head now.
Yeah.
The point is, she's got a 6 head.
Yeah.
Next match was the NXT Championship match between Kairi Sane and Shayna Baszler.
Hashtag Evil Baby.
AKA, yes, the Evil Baby. At Evil Baby on Twitter.
Yeah.
I swear, that face. Evil Baby, man. Yeah. Now, I know the sweetheart of the match, the one everybody wants to win. The preferred is Kairi Sane, but I was going for Shayna myself. I like them both, of course. Yeah. Who were you going for?
You're a big fan of babies.
I'm a big fan of angry, baby-looking man women.
Oh, all right. I was kind of going for Shayna too because I thought, though well done, her loss was kind of weird. Mm-hmm. Of the title. Just because I thought they could still do more with her in that position. Though in storyline it made sense and it was cool, it was just a little weird for me. So it was fine for me to get her the title back, and especially the way they did it.
Yeah, it was. I'm the same way. Same thought process to a degree. I didn't think it was so much weird as I thought it was kind of short. Her reign, and I still felt kind of like that they were pushing Kairi over a little too soon, considering how big a threat Baszler had been painted as. But now, not that I was disappointed with that, mind you, but now this not only gives her a specific moment in NXT history, which is she's the first woman to reign twice, but it adds fuel to the fire should that be necessary, and it allows a lot more to be open for her as a threat, especially with what happened during this match. But yes, of course, both girls are fantastic in the ring, so there was nothing lacking here. If anything, Shayna looked a lot more vicious this go around.
Yeah,
and so that was cool, and it allowed Kairi to seem more like the underdog. So her loss was a lot more resounding.
My favorite part was when she locked the plank.
Oh man, Michael Cole, what the fuck, man? The plank. his fucking commentary. What the fuck was wrong with him? Did he get tased?
I'm telling you,
Oh my god, she's about to the plank.
We noticed during the pre-show that he kind of looks like a woodpecker. I think this was his evolution into being a woodpecker.
Bro, that's what woodpecker noise is.
Yeah, I assume it is.
I don't know what sound they make.
Like this.
Anyway, this match ended, of course, with Shayna Baszler taking back the championship. Pretty epically. It was a Kirifuda clutch, but submission losses are one of my least favorites. I'm assuming that's the same case with you, because they tend to be not very exciting. I'm looking at you, Coquina Clutch.
Yeah.
No matter how good the person is, it just seems anticlimactic.
It depends on the storyline mostly.
Yes, and I think here it worked great. Every Kirifuda Clutch conclusion she's had, I thought was pretty good, but this one ended great because there was involvement from the 4 horsewomen of the UFC, or of mixed martial arts, I'm sorry, and with the exception of Ronda, of course.
Yeah.
So there was involvement from them, and they had a lot to do with Kyrie losing. So it kept Kyrie safe as a character, and it only amplified how evil Shayna is, I guess, or how threatening she can be. And it introduced these new characters that in the future I'm sure they'll use to some degree or another.
Evil babies.
So, well, they don't look like evil babies. Thankfully, that would be really weird.
The stable is going to be called Evil Babies.
Evil babies. And their music is just the crying of children.
Yeah.
Incessant crying.
Babies with a Z, by the way.
Of course. And evil with, I don't know.
Two E's.
Yeah.
2 eyes. So it makes no sense.
But yeah, man, this was a pretty good match. Really intense. Some great spots in it. No complaints here. What's your take?
Yeah, I would say the same. I'm actually okay with the ending.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's it.
Next, I think, is the match of the night, in my opinion. That's Becky versus Charlotte. And this is what I think should have been the headlining match, honestly.
Yeah.
Because it was so good, story-wise and in terms of the action, that what followed it, which already was not very overwhelming, just seemed underwhelming completely.
Big time.
But we'll talk about that right now. Right now we're talking about the match of the night, in my opinion. Becky versus Charlotte. This was for the SmackDown belt, of course, the women's belt. It was a last woman standing match, the first of its kind. So that alone set it apart and made you know that they were going to up the ante a little bit. And up the ante they did. These girls put it all out there. We already seen Charlotte do that in other matches where she's been the first in. But it was good for them to really let Becky do what she's been doing so great now for a while. And it was fantastic, man. I got to say, though, that little ref counting.
Yeah.
I realize he's trying to save the events that are supposed to happen. But there was a few times there where apparently the rule is now not get on both your feet, but like get on your knee.
Maybe 1 foot. Yeah. Still be on the floor. Apparently that's the new rule.
You opened your eye. Okay, well, stop counting right there. Yeah. It was. But I understand. Maybe it was a little too noticeable. But the match itself is what mattered here. And again, there was chair spots, kendo sticks, table spots, like really crisp table spots, despite the first one being missed.
Yeah.
They just set it up again, and when it hit again, nice and crisp. It made the weight, I'm sure, made a tons of difference versus, like fucking, I don't know, the Dudleys obviously are going to break a fucking table, but these are lighter women, hundreds of pounds lighter than these guys. So the crack of the table seemed a lot more satisfying, a lot more painful. We understand. As equal as women may be, physically, for the most part, they have
they're not two fat lards breaking tables.
Exactly. They have a weaker constitution physically. Even if they may be strong, they're not packed with 10,000 pounds of lard, so they can be hurt a lot more. So the stakes, as you're watching it, are higher. You understand, man. These girls have less cushioning, leaner muscle, less lard cushioning for sure. So they're hurting, man, a lot more, and that felt realistic. They were really putting all their effort into this. So the spots looked magnificent and felt legitimately painful. Loved it, man. Loved this thing. It ended with Becky retaining her belt with a table spot that she reversed on Charlotte, who was going to do the spot off the top rope. ran her through it, and she couldn't make it. She tried, but she couldn't make it up in time. Really good ending. Really good match. Highlight of the night for me.
In reality, compared to some of the other counts of the ref, technically she was already on both feet.
Yeah, yeah, really. There was other circumstances where she was just like on a knee and she's good. This one she actually got up. Yeah, so that should have broken the count.
She got up. Whatever. She just didn't get on her like bottom of her feet, but suddenly that doesn't count anymore.
Yeah, man. Anything you want to add to this?
No, I think it was the best one of the night. I think we'll get to that at the end, but I think this was the best one of the night. I think it was kind of interesting to see the counts from the ref, and also he was clearly very concerned with being safe with them, so he would do the check.
Oh yeah.
After every single spot, it was a little weird to see.
That ref was super visible.
Yeah,
I'm talking like, and Becky, probably because she was so exhausted, was also pretty visible with her, reassuring that she was fine, down to nodding and audibly speaking that she was fine. But it's good to see concern,
Yeah.
I know some people might see that as, condescending because they're women. Oh, it's just a natural thing, man. We understand certain things, I think everybody's behind these women coming up to the level because they've shown the effort. They've shown that they want it. And like I said, right now, they are way better than the dudes are. And especially entertaining-wise. Come on, man. A lot of it's Raw, dude. Fuck.
It's so bad.
A lot of the story guys, almost every storyline with dudes in Raw sucks. So these women are the only thing keeping that alive, in my opinion. And they're doing excellent. So I understand the concern. It was just like, dude, seriously, ref? Come on, man. A little bit more subtlety here.
Every single, you just stand up and he's like...
Yeah. Maybe he was just going for the grope. I've never touched anybody before in my life. Anyway, yeah. Great match, man. Which brought us up to the main event, which was Nikki Bella versus Ronda Rousey, of course, with the Raw Women's Championship. This had a little storyline built up to it. But unlike Becky and Charlotte's storyline, there was little heft behind this, mainly because of... Well, it's the Bellas, you know what I'm saying? And then don't get me wrong, I'll be the first guy to stare at Nikki Bella, but I'll be also the first guy that admits that I'm staring at her because her talent is lacking.
Big time.
Now, I'm not one of the guys that are going to drag her through the mud and say she's garbage in the ring. No, in fact, she's improved in the ring dramatically, but she's not. It's sad when she's not on par with Ronda.
Yeah.
As a result. That chinked a lot of my interest in it, but I still wanted to see Ronda perform, of course. She's become kind of a highlight for me, and I know some people might not agree with that, but let's face it right here. We're talking about this and that. What I think they dropped the ball in is not making this more obviously about the rift between divas and women wrestlers.
I mean, it was there.
It was there, but they just didn't focus on it.
Yeah.
So that's what this match should have been about. And it should have been a squash match, basically. It should have been Ronda ripping the fuck out of her.
I think the biggest problem against this, with this match, was I got really bad allergies during it, and my eyes were hurting. That was a big negative towards it. But also, Ronda was playing down big time to Nikki, and it wasn't convincing. Like, she was kind of, Bella was freaking dominant for a while, and it was just like, I'm not buying this.
Yeah. And I don't think it's even that she was playing down. I think Ronda is too good. She's like a Dolph Ziggler. She sells good.
She's really good
for everyone
at selling, but there's a point where you're seeing it, and you're just like, well, this isn't.
Well, yeah. Well, this is where the problem is. I don't think that was the intent, because Ronda has sold very well for other people before. Alicia Fox. She sold like she was being dragged through the mud. You know what I'm saying? So Ronda maybe needs to curve her selling for certain characters.
For some people,
But, and here's where this comes in with yours, the fact is that Nikki Bella is not a credible threat.
Yeah.
She could literally be the best wrestler, and she's just not a credible threat at this level. Maybe to some other wrestlers, but not at this fucking level. She's just a big name.
Yeah.
Which carries some heft, I understand that. But that's why This should have been the focus. And again, like you said, they did touch on it. We're the Divas and we set this up. They touched on it, but they didn't focus on it. This should have been, we're putting a nail in the coffin of the Divas, and this is the women's evolution now. And they even said it at the end when Ronda wins. I think Renee said, this is representative of, okay, their intent was there, but they didn't nail it. You know what I'm saying? It should have been Ronda fucking destroying Nikki, no questions asked.
Yeah.
Brie gets involved and she destroys her too, and that's it. It's done.
I think it went on too long.
Yes.
Like I said, the fact that, I think I agree with you. I think it is that Ronda sells too well.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just not, you don't buy it with Nikki. And that, along with her dominating for so long, Nikki, it was just like, oh man, this is just not good. It wasn't horrid, but it was very bland, very bland.
Let's put it this way: I'll take this match over the majority of the men's matches we've seen.
It's just like compared to the rest of the thing. It's like even the shitty build-up storyline that I was not invested in with the Riot Squad. At least that one was a good match. Even though Sasha was super, super freaking sloppy in it, at least it was a good match. This was just like, oh man, why is this so long?
Yeah. So anyway, that was the end of the show, and despite that being the actual low light, which it shouldn't have been, the show overall was pretty damn great. And again, the women put the men to shame.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man. Step up the old game here, fellas.
I do kind of wish that they had. I mean, I know it's never going to happen because it's WWE, but I do kind of wish that they had just put on the show and not in every single in-between matches be like, this is historic and this is the coolest thing of all time. Had those little packages and shit. It kind of made it feel a little bit gross.
I disagree for this reason. WWE was gross for decades towards women. Still kind of are at times. So for that reason, make them grovel. You know what I'm saying? Like this is the company that had storylines just to get Vince McMahon blown by chicks.
Yeah, but we know how they are. So it just comes off as disingenuous. It's more like, now we're doing this, guys like us. You know what I mean? So I think if they had done that a little bit less and just put on the show, it would have been, and that's not even against the show. It's just an observation.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't affect the show in any way. It's just an observation. I kind of wish they had done that. But yeah, I think it was a pretty good show.
They should have just excised the segments just to make the show shorter.
Yeah.
To feel faster.
Yeah.
But whatever. Yeah, the point is the actual wrestling and all that stuff, I think we both agree, was top notch. Despite this, again, the lowest point in this is higher than some of the high points in the fucking intergender shows.
Yeah.
Which says a lot about Raw, especially. Fuck, man. Raw fucking reeks. But anyway.
That's bad.
Let's give this a final rating. Any final thoughts? Hit it. 1 through 10. What do you give it?
I'm going to take off 1 point because of that final match.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it was pretty damn good. So I'll give it a 9.
I'm going to give it a 9.
I don't know if that's too high, but...
No, it was, again, the consistent show, quality-wise. And again, despite that low point, which again, like you, that's my point off. I mean, this is just me considering the show comparatively on a fair level with all the other shows. But if I really was saying, if I'm really, really, really going to compare this to other shows, then I'll give this a fucking 12,000.
Yeah, I would rather watch I would rather watch this than, the 1,000th freaking TLC that sucks my dick off.
But yeah, I mean, they really put everything out there. You can feel the passion for what they were doing and what they wanted to do, which says a lot. You know what I'm saying? It really, you can feel that through the screen. And the Becky Charlotte match alone, fantastic, and that they made me enjoy a battle royale match.
Yeah,
so much.
Yeah, it was surprisingly
despite how crazy
that match alone was surprisingly well put together. Like it actually felt structured.
Yeah.
I also want to point out that. Though Michael Cole sucks and goes, walk
the plank.
I kind of like the combination with him, Renee, and Beth.
Oh yeah,
it kind of worked. Like the commentary was never super shitty in this. Yeah, there were some points, mainly, but even that was better than most shows.
You know what I like when, especially now that Renee's on Raw, and it was really evident here, that Cole tends to interrupt less.
Yeah.
Because he's probably being considered like, I don't want to step on. Again, that might seem demeaning now to, let's say, like an SJW or 50th wave feminist. Like, oh, why does he have to open the door for me? But fuck, man, anything to get to stop Cole from chattering every fucking second.
With his freaking woodpecker looking ass.
Anyway, Michael Cole's woodpecker hair aside, this was a pretty damn great event. Hopefully one of more to come. And yeah, man, this is great. This is great tidings for the women. Let's just hope it had the ratings and the sales necessary to make them really push for this a lot more. So, a winner.
I would agree. Yes.
Let us know what you think about this. I'm Ahab. That's Goontek. We are the Wrestle Ramblers. Time to the plank.
Shit.